Kia ora, folks. Here we are, episode 6 of the Australia New Zealand Music Podcast. Welcome. Yes. Today I am sitting down with a friend from Melbourne once again. Rohan, how are we doing today, brother?
Yeah, really good actually. I've been gardening all day, so I'm pretty in it.
Feeling refreshed, feeling aligned with the nature.
Something like that.
Yeah, nice. Nice dirty hands.
They were. We did a lot of checking out, so I'm pretty aligned with a skip that we hired, so
Beautiful.
that's a bin for all the
Beautiful.
Kiwis listening. I don't know what you guys call it.
Yeah.
It's a big metal thing.
Yeah, we call it a skip.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
We get to-
Yeah. Anyway, I'll give you all a little bit of a debrief about who Rohan is and his creative endeavors, which are quite diverse, really. Yeah, again, another diverse creative joining us. As I said, based in Melbourne, Rohan loves, well, if I had to sum it up, Rohan loves to host an event and partake in events. Anything to do with the arts, really. Musical D&D at the Bergie Salsa, Songwriters Cafe, also at the Bergie Salsa, theme local jams, art shows, an array of exhibitions, and he's also a key player in helping me make the Listening Room, which is an open mic night at Nighthawks, a possibility. He might argue that, it seems like, but I am very grateful for his help. And I'm very grateful for you just activating the art scene in Melbourne in general. Is there anything that I missed there?
Less. I hate taking credit for things.
Well, then why don't you take some credit for a fun, silly fact? Could you tell us about a silly, fun fact about you?
I sent you a weird one, but I've forgotten it, so I'll tell you from one. I had, the mandala effect? I had this photo when I was a child of me eating a lollipop at Movie World, which is like a big theme park on the Gold Coast. And for some reason, like my brain like anchored a whole experience around that. And I talked about it with my parents like probably like 20 years after the fact, and was like, yeah, I remember this whole day we had at Movie World. And they were like, no, you never went. I was like, what? I'm like, why have I got a picture of me with with a lollipop next to Batman? And they were like, oh, that was just like at a thing. And I was like, but we went on the rides. Like I had like a fear reaction at the Gremlins ride, like the whole thing. And they were like, so yeah.
Wow, that is a fun one.
weird.
Fabricated memories.
Yeah, but like obviously I was like 4, but like still bit of a trip.
Yeah. Maybe your parents just be tripping.
Nah, the memory's like pretty spotty, but I looked at the photo
Right.
again, and like what I thought was Movie World was just like Batman was in a local park.
Right.
It's hard to keep track of all the times you meet Batman as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Countless.
I wish
Still happening for me.
I would like to meet him more, but I'm an adult.
Yeah,
Apparently, that
yeah.
never happens anymore. Why did they bring Batman to more stuff I go to? It sucks.
You could be the Batman,
I wish, but I have to be running these things, and it'd be weird if I did it
There
in a
is-
Batman costume.
There is a job to be filled. The
Yeah.
Melbourne Batman. Anywho, moving on to the news digest for the week. This one entitled Moby relaunches mobygratis with 500 new free tracks for creators. It's from Happy Mag's Alex Cooper. Moby is an electronic music legend who has now supercharged his mobygratis platform, adding 500 plus new instrumental tracks, all completely free for indie filmmakers, non-profits, and artists. Launching in 2005, the library has complemented 50,000 projects with zero royalties, hidden fees, or corporate strings. It now has multi-track stems, which are remix ready, and intuitive search filters like BPM, mood, and genre. There is one rule: no far-right politics or animal product ads allowed. Moby says it's about sustainability and creativity. You can use these tracks for commercial purposes until 10,000 audio streams or 50,000 video streams. So go get creative at mobygratis.com. Some really interesting stuff and an interesting model, which brings me to this idea around the plethora of free music samples, tracks in our scene at the moment, and also these sample generators, using text prompts, song generators using text prompts. What is your feel, Rowan, on the current climate of these technological innovations, sort of lessening or creating more accessibility to musical creativity in a way, but maybe with some downfalls in the way? What do you think?
I mean, first off, shout out to Moby. If you sent me the link when I watched the video where he talks about it, and yeah, I was reading a lot of the language on the website, being like, what can I use this for? It's clear, but it's kind of a bit murky. And then basically in the video, he's just like, anyone can use this. If you're worried about a copyright issue, the answer is yes. He doesn't care as long as, like you said, they were very specific about no editable products, no far right stuff. But otherwise, yeah, I thought it was really genuine. It's quite cool. I mean, the guy won a bunch of awards in 2003. Who's heard from him since? He got interrupted by Kanye, I think, at some point, and then apparently he's just been pumping out free music for people. What a ledge!
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, I don't know how he has the time to do it. I guess that's the luxury of being an electronic superstar.
Yeah, it reminded me of, I was reading this article about after Prince died, he left a vault, not like a CD or anything, just like a vault of unreleased tracks, and he had like 6,000 tracks on there. And they forgot to tell him when the code, so his manager had to cut through the safe because he obviously put in his will to get it out there. And but I mean that's what these people do. I always think of them just sitting around by pools, putting cocaine on balls and then rubbing those balls on other balls, and it's like caviar is somewhere. But I guess they like making music, and just because they only put out 13 songs a year doesn't mean they don't make 500 songs. And like even Moby was saying, he's got another 1,000 to put up. So yeah, just cool.
Yeah, I think making things like this is only getting easier as well. I would be curious to see how he makes them. If he does it in studio, if he plays analog instruments, or if he programs them, or
he said all acoustic.
What he does
is all acoustic.
It's
stuff.
all acoustic.
Yeah. So
yeah, right.
He must just be
that's
wicked for
wicked.
himself, and he has some that are a lot of the songs are for bands as well to mix, and maybe it's not a full song. You can add like a bass or a drums to it, but for some songs they're released as restricted, so you have to use them as is for like. And remember, he did make a James Bond theme, so some of them are just like that. They're just like big theme scores that you can use to introduce like a heist or something. But but I like what you were saying.
Have you ever played around with things like this before?
Yeah, a little bit. I used to use, when I was streaming, a thing called Monster Cat, who did something really similar. They released just tons of free electronic tracks, and often like mixes of royalty-free electronic tracks, and you could use them to like just have them there when you were starting a stream. So you would just go like play,
right.
Then you would have, the 40 minutes of music while you launched the stream, got it set up, and it was really handy. Or then like if we needed intros to clips, because we were doing like esports stuff, it just made sense. It's really, really, really handy. Because often like hunting through the big free, royalty-free music sites, it's just like the people have made stuff, but like even Moby said, as to like how he was sorting his own stuff, it was all subjective. Like he doesn't know what new wave is apparently, and when I'd go like search like cool intro music on a royalty-free thing, you could get people playing pots and pans, or like somebody doing a full chill track, or like I listened to one and I was like, this is the track, but like 3 minutes in, the vocals come in and it's just somebody yodeling, and it ruined the whole thing. But it's like, and it's innocuously named, because who's going to put something out free? Unlike Moby, spend the time categorizing it, building a website, yada, yada, yada. When people put their free stuff out, they just call it chill vibes. And then you're like, you have to go and listen to it. So
it's a good point. Like the categorization process is not light admin.
No.
It is very subjective. I used to make guitar samples with some friends, and coming up with the idea was not like the sample itself, the musical idea. That wasn't the hard part. The hard part was recording it to tip-top quality for starters, so that it's got to be top quality if you want people to use it, if you want people to buy it. And then trying to be like, what is this? Like, what world does this fit in? Because like just a guitar by itself, I mean, you could dress this up in a great many ways.
I did used to, when I was doing I still kind of do actually. Like when I was doing some beat making for some social media videos, I used a beat maker online that was tapped into like a royalty free database, and I think the database was categorized, but then they'd done another subcategorization before you saw it.
Right.
So you could really reliably
Right.
type in like disco funk or new wave or 90s hip hop sounds, and that was really
Yeah,
handy.
right.
And then they had like a premium thing where probably they'd bought some or they bought access to a catalog or something, and then they'd taken the time to sort it. It was really good.
Yeah.
Fiddly,
Yeah.
like not as good as GarageBand or like, I mean, the last big program like that I used was something by Propellerhead, but yeah, it was still
Well, yeah,
fine.
the king of samples is surely Splice at this point. I don't know if you've used Splice much, but it seems to be the industry standard and just a plethora of options, even just like simple one hits, just like a big floor tom sound or just one big chord and sample that as you please. Subscription model though, not free, not Moby free,
No Moby
not
free,
Moby gratis.
no gratis.
Sing.
But,
For those who don't know, gratis is free in Spanish.
But if you're doing some sort of ad where Bacon supports some fascist dictator, well, look, you got to do what you got to do. You know, pigs for pigs.
I mean,
like,
I'm tempted to do it just to see if he catches me.
well, yeah, I mean, obviously, like both our countries have massive dictator problems at the moment, so
Yeah.
Oh, actually, yours does. What am I saying? Oh my god! But anyway.
Come on.
Yeah,
Give us a
sorry.
break. What do you think? Do you have any forecasts about what is in store for us in the future in terms of generating generative AI samples, songs for that matter?
Yeah, I got so into this it's like this country music AI thing, and they were making these songs that because like there was this artist about a year and a half ago, and he got really famous because he was like an out and queer country music artist. He does that song about I think it's like sliding in your pussy or something, and he's like a really like authentic like South American country sound. Like he's got the voice, he plays the slide guitar, but the sound is about obviously him getting down with other men. And there was out of that, I think somebody put a lot his back catalog into an AI and were able to generate just all these really, really funny like country music songs. And some of them are a bit garbled, like they give it a prompt. What was the one? It was like I give it something like messy, like I put ketchup in my vodka like a smooth sliding salmon. Like that would just be the line, and then somehow this AI would fill out everything else. A pre-verse that leads into condiments and fish, and then the chorus, of course, would include that line, slip sliding salmon in my ketchup in my vodka or something. But it would all just like magically come together, and I used to like watch them every time they came out. They were so dumb, but it was always so impressive watching, like you would watch somebody improv a song, like this AI figure out at what little tiny crumbs it has to lead so that it all makes sense when it says this nonsensical country music line. I found it fun.
Right.
I don't know if that's like good
Yeah.
for creative people, but it's fun to watch.
Whatever it is, it is.
Yeah.
There's no slowing it at this point. So there's adaptation or see you later.
Well, I read.
Such is the case with all these things.
I was reading a really good quote by. I was like something like maybe like Rick Reuben or one of those like nerds who does music production, which is to say, really talented industry veteran. But they were talking about like this idea that I was sure AI is like threatening for like lots of creative arts, but people who want to make stuff are still going to make stuff. And I think lowering the barrier, I think they were saying in terms of like the barrier will be lowered to the floor, and that will like take all the money out of it. But it's like people who still want to make stuff will make stuff. So I think that gave me a little bit of peace in the sense of like, I don't make any money off of anything I do really. But I know that like, I'm a believer that within myself, I will still want to make something, even if there is like, a bunch of AIs learning how to play the ukulele like I am.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, music making it's part of my well-being practice. It's not about generating income. It's more about sustaining myself as an individual.
But still sucks if you're trying to make money.
It does.
I mean-
I've got an intruder coming into the scene here. My new cat Sativa wants to get onto the screen. How about that? Well, it might be a good time to pull into our song of the week. Song of the month, rather. This is Brighter Skies by who is it again? James C. Atkins. Not actually 100% sure how to say that. Brighter Skies, nonetheless. We're going to go have a listen to the full song right now. You should go check it out too. But we're going to give you a quick little 1 minute snip, and then we'll be back with part 2.
Than giving hard work, you have to earn your pay. But I have worked hard enough. I think I'll call your bluff. I have heard them pray, Lord, my soul to save. I thought to myself, won't save them from their graves. It seems the more you try, the less you care to die. Morning's coming round, and I'll be here, I doubt. Morning's coming round, and I will use stars as my guide, 'cause for brighter skies I will make my way into the night. I will try to catch the light.
Brighter Skies. Song, very upbeat feels, James. I like it. What grabbed your attention in that song, Rowan?
Like the first chorus, like prickles, because it's got that whole like build, and that's like, oh no, it was great.
Yeah. Make my way.
Yeah, I think that'd be wild to listen to live, for real.
Yeah, he's got a big, strong voice. He's got a lot of soul in his voice. Yeah. I feel like he has some stories to tell me.
I actually, I kind of felt as well. It gave me appreciation for, well, actually, this isn't the song that gave me it, but I appreciate it because of, you hear that song, What the Helly? It's this song that just this guy says, what the heliante, just over and over again. Like, it's like one of those like mumble rap, same lyric 100 times. But it put me on this idea of like appreciating when people use a lyric over and over again, or like not being so, realizing that your brain isn't getting bored of repetition, particularly in a song. And I really liked like this. It felt like it was using a lot of the same lyrics together, and I just really liked it. Just the mix-ups were fun, and the build-up was fun, and I found myself like waiting for like, oh, he's gonna do the thing. The drums are gonna be there. The guitar's gonna be there.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, he made some nice arcs of dynamics. Even I think it was just his voice and guitar at the start, and then the drums sort of ease their way in, and then pre-chorus there's a bit more like accents on hits, and then when he hits those high notes at the start of the chorus, that's it's tasty. Well, James.
The only complaint I had about it was probably there was this bit, I think post-bridge at about like a minute 40, where the way it sounded auditorily was like somebody had left a few too many samples going in a track. So I think the drums stayed over, and then we cut to like second verse after the bridge, and it just, I wanted that like build, but it felt like the drums were still there at kind of the same volume. Right. And that was the one complaint I could have had, because I think my first listen, I was like a little bit bored of it after like 2 minutes, like still fun, and then it was like the rises, and I'm like, oh yeah, country music, oh, life is good. But I gave it a second listen, and that it wasn't the whole back of the song. It was just this like one bit where a few too many instruments were in. But otherwise it was great. Right. That's my Yeah,
you almost wanted it to dip a little bit more like before it came up.
And you need to do it. I listened to it again like a third time, because I was like, I don't want to critique this song without like giving it a third listen. It feels like just something just needs to happen, some other noise needs to happen, or even a little drop, like a little silent drop, whatever, so that you can just quietly duck the drums down like 5 decibels or something, and then they could kind of come back for the chorus. But I can see where
there's such a subtle art doing that. I mean, that's almost like a mixing thing, and it can be very actually specific to your listening utensils as well. Like listening through a set of monitors, the impact of the dynamics is going to be different as opposed to listening through your laptop speakers, for example.
I mean, these I was actually listening every time mostly on these headphones, guys. And they've been through the wash like 3 times. So
yeah, I always make an effort to listen on different platforms when I'm doing my own music, getting it mixed or mastered.
I gave it a run through some other things. Like I think first time was on the tram. Second time was I think I just had probably plugged in the speakers at the studio, and then this time was through the laptop. And I think somewhere in between that was where maybe first listen on these, it was just a little bit boring. So maybe that is headphones, but yeah.
Well, thanks for providing that song anyway, James. Brighter Skies. I love it. It was one of the favorite ones you played for me at the listening room back in November. Once again, that's the open mic night. And speaking of listening on different listening utensils, that's exactly what I like to do on my song feedback that you can tap into if you head on over to gymjot.com.au. It's a free service. We provide a page worth of notes about your song, or you can upgrade that service to get an in-depth full analysis of the song, and who knows, your submission might end up right here on the Australia New Zealand Music Podcast. And feedback is one of the most important tools for development, but development in general is where GYMjot thrives. With our tried and tested development course, you can unlock your inner artist and find your musical direction, all within the context of your situation. So zoom on over to gymjot.com.au to book a free 30-minute consultation right now. Go. Why wait? Yum. Let's do it. Ad spin. Done. That brings us to artist development in general. Rohan, I like to ask our guests, when did you encounter an impactful aha moment in terms of your artistic development? It could be recent, could be the first one that comes to mind, or it could be something that you really wear on your sleeve every day. It doesn't have to be music related either.
Yeah. Just saying. I mean, like the most recent one, I think I went to that opera run I've been running workshops for artists to come and kind of find out what opera is. And in this case, I had a bunch of people from Music Victoria on a panel. And one of the things that absolutely killed me was they spoke to how nice they were and how approachable they want to be. And then in the next sentence said, I listen to 400 songs and I get like 300 emails a day. And so when you email me, tell me what you want. Like just ask for anything, but be really clear on what it is. And it made me realize that I've probably been missing out on I know because I'm part of an art collective and we like reach out to a bunch of stuff. Like when we reach out to like beer companies and ask them for beer, they give us beer. Like if I could pay my rent in beer, I'd be killing it as an artist. But it makes me think about like in other ways when we've reached out to galleries or, bigger organizations or just looking for advice on grants, when maybe the fear that we've had about asking has been, we want to ask everything. We want to say like, is this any good? Is this a good idea? Will they like me? Will people turn up? Can you help? But all those questions are just the most annoying things to get. Like I've got those questions from artists when we've been setting up events and I've been like, oh my God, this is like a 10, 20-minute time sink. I got all day, but I still hate it. I can't imagine like being somebody who's like, again, pretty high up in industry. In these cases, there was, obviously in radio and talent management and publicists, but just that piece of advice about if you can talk to people that you think are cool, but they're busy, and just be really clear about what you want, but they'll get back to you. And I think it's like when they say like, shoot your shot, but in that nice way, which is just be really direct with what you want. Like, if you like somebody, say, hey, I think you're cute. I think we'd vibe. Do you want to go out? And if you ask it really simply, it's not like you're putting your life on the line. You're just asking, you're saying, hey, I want to go out with you. And if they say no, it's like, we're done. But the same way, like if I email Nick Cave and be like, hey, can you listen to my song? That's one little ask. In worst case, he never does it. But it seems like, well, you're not Nick Cave, but people high up in industry might actually do that thing. So
yeah, no,
that was
a really
Sunday.
Good point.
I gotta have that process.
yeah, you're still processing that one. Yeah, no, that's a really important one, actually. you got to bring the humanity back into these people in the industry and what they're going to be dealing with day to day. 300 songs a day, that's not even it's not even possible to get through that.
I think it was just, it was like I guess like on that, like on humanity, it was like they were reminding us they were human, but I think it was really when they were kind of talking about like the worst things they get emailed with, it would have been like a new band being like, hey, no big deal, but like we have this song out in like next week and we've got a gig in like 2 days in like a friend's like pub, but like if you want to listen to it, whatever, and like if you give us a shout out, that'd be sick, but like it's cool. Like that email would just do nothing. Like you'd be like, who are these like incredibly disorganized people? But I think what they want is just like, hi, I really care about my music. I'm in this really cool band and like I spend 3 hours doing my hair for every show, but also I get that you're busy and I'm showing you that I'm not a dickhead. And here's this simple ask, which is, could you listen to this song and tell me what you think? Is the mastering okay? Like,
Well, there's also something like, I'm releasing, this is my completely finished song. I'm releasing it in 2 months' time.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that I could get, if you're messaging like a radio show, any chance of getting a premiere? And these are the 3 presenters that I think the song aligns with the music that they play. So you're telling them exactly where you want the music to go to for those presenters to be like, yep. Keen, or no, not keen.
It was funny. Even when I was Googling James, I could see his release schedule for that song because there's a news article there's another news article. He's on, like I listened to that song on YouTube Music, but he's also on Spotify. He's on Apple Music. He's on a bunch of platforms. Like he's redone his socials. He'd done the Google results for that song were 6 pieces of Instagram content he'd made. So like clearly he'd gotten the advice to be organized, 6 weeks out. But I could, if you've been talking to me as a musician, 5-10 years ago, I probably would have just rushed everything. So I wouldn't even thought to have like a 6 to 8 week plan or to make it clear to people that like, hey, I'm not talking to you because this thing is urgent. I'm talking to you because we're taking it slow and because we care.
Yeah. Releasing music, if you want to do it to increase your chances of getting reach and success and support, you really want to have all your assets in hand at least a month before release, and preferably 2 months before release, and preferably even more 3 months before release. Like sitting on the cover art, the masters, the visualizers, some social content, the copy, the story behind the song, your biography, having all of that up to date, the aesthetic value, the colors scheme, some outfits you want to be wearing to align with the whole release, some potential press that you can reach out to, some potential radio presenters, whatever it is, all of that, your distribution sorted. There's a lot to think about. It's kind of overwhelming. Hence getting it ready beforehand.
But even that, it's this is where I feel a lot for musicians, maybe a little bit more than, because I make visual art usually, in that like the expectations of like a solo musician to be any good at any of those things. Like I know I find myself doing graphic design for lots of different creative projects, and like I'm often also planning a social media calendar or getting a newsletter ready or doing a bit more promo, but like that's hard, and that's on top of me doing my own stuff. And then when I go do video things, like I'm bad at that. Like so it's like to expect one artist or even just 3-4 artists to be able to do not only play and create in a way that makes them not want to quit when they have no money, but then to also be good at all these other weird promo techniques. It's insane. Yeah.
Which is why a team is so important, which is something that was alluded to at those Connect sessions for APRA as well. Like having people around you and leaning into your creative support network, trying to outsource these things where you can. Obviously, it's not always financially possible, but also tools like AI tools coming into play are making this more accessible for musicians to generate
emails.
Yeah, in and of itself. But yeah, it always, it's a lot. It's always a lot. But that's kind of what we signed up for.
Yeah.
This is the industry we're in.
I know for like visual artists, I share a studio with a person who does tattooing on the other side, and they do tons of like social media content, and like I'll be sitting there, we have a wall between us, and like, oh hey Jay, what are you up to? And I'll be like, oh, I'm just doing my like wrap up of this last tattoo for a reel or something. And like for their practice, like, because they do illustration as well, their practice is do a tattoo, get paid for that, do some illustrations, put that on Instagram, but then also make content of all this stuff. Like that's just automatic for them. So I don't know. Yeah.
That's part of their job.
And you forget that. I know I hate promo, and for myself anyway. And like I don't want to tell anyone about anything I'm doing, and I don't want praise, and I just want to be left alone in a little cave, and to invite people into that cave to look at my cave drawings like once every 6 months maybe. But like I still gotta do it,
Yeah. Tall poppy syndrome, huh?
But that's where it's fun, like you said, with a team, because like you can have your best mate do something like a poster, or do your emailing out for something, or do that run around to drop off poster pubs, and it's just that like impartiality of them being slightly separated from the most precious creative thing you've ever done can just get them aligned. And I know for me, I'm like, that's where I'm at with some people's stuff. They're like, can you do this? I'm like, yeah, sure. Impartial, it's fine. I'll do it. It's not going to kill me. You can have a couple of edits, like it's fine. But I think if I know, like having Gustu, who runs the art collective, do all the sponsorship reach outs and that, it's like magic for me. Like I would never do that.
Yeah. Well, it's also a lot easier to promote other people, I find. Having wrote press releases and biographies for artists, musicians in the past, it's like, I find it so easy to talk these guys up.
Yep.
Because I'm on their team. I believe in them, and it's easy to get behind them. To get behind yourself, it can be a little bit hard to string all those accolades together and be like, and still be enthusiastic without feeling arrogant.
Yeah, yep. Yep. But I don't know, it's weird. There's definitely like mindset change for a lot of it, but then it's like, that's like just promo. What about like costumes? What about like, planning a brand or anything? It's just, that's the same thing all there. Like why are we expecting
let alone technical skills.
Yeah, actually,
actually being proficient at the instrument and performance, being comfortable on stage, knowing how to work a crowd.
Yeah, or I mean, the weird skill I bring is I make websites sometimes, and it's like I forget that like for people who've got no coding ability, a website is like the boogeyman. Things can take years to make.
Oh yeah,
it'd be easier for me to probably learn the bass guitar than it would be for somebody who maybe hadn't made a website before to put it all together and be willing to put themselves out like that. Sometimes it's like,
yeah, and you can often forget the power of the skills you have, right? Because you almost just start to assume, yeah, but everyone knows how to do that, right? No. Everyone's comfortable doing that.
Well, comfortable is another thing. Like I'm not good at soundboards, but I don't mind touching them.
Yeah, right.
Like if I get electrocuted one day, that'll be a quick lesson. But I definitely met people like, I don't touch this. This is you let me near that thing, it'll all sound bad. I'll ruin everything. I'm like, I'll ruin everything. It's fine.
You're willing to get those hands dirty, full circle, bang. I reckon on that note, yeah, we are done here for episode 6. Thanks, Rohan. Do you want to direct people anywhere? Any places they should be landing?
Yeah, I think if you haven't heard of the Songwriters Cafe, do check that out. You can Google that, and I think we're the top result on Eventbrite. It's like a recurring workshop where people bring songs and we talk about them and talk about our creative hang-ups and learn silly vocal warm-ups and things, and it's been really fun. And it's every 3 weeks at the Berkey Seltzer on a Monday.
Yeah, that's me and Rohan met, actually.
Yeah, I'm really glad we
Big
met
fan.
like that.
Big fan. Any socials people should be following?
Yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, you won't see much of my art, but you'll see every event I'm promoting, and also sometimes my art. Like it's like my ratio is currently 9 promo to 1 thing I made. So at trop.io is the place to find me.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us again. We're going to let you play out a little bit more of Brighter Skies. Shout out to James once more. Yeah, that's us, Australia New Zealand Music Podcast. Until next time, team. Ciao, ciao.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.